Welcome to part 2 of my analysis of the King Wen sequence. In this video we will continue our exploration of the King Wen sequence. The contents of this video leans heavily on a paper written by Van den Berg, titled The Explanation of King Wen's Order of the 64 Hexagrams, which I will link to in the description. I can highly recommend reading that paper. In this video, however, I will give my own twist to the analysis of the sequence. Slide 1. In the previous video I explained that the King Wen sequence is a model of a human lifetime. We had a look of the 8 trigrams that form the basis of the 64 hexagrams that form the King Wen sequence, and I explained how each trigram represents a phase of a human lifetime. I also claimed that the 64 hexagrams are not equally divided over the 8 phases of life. In this video I will explain how I believe the 64 hexagrams should be divided instead. Slide 2. Let us have a look at the complete sequence of the 64 hexagrams that form the King Wen sequence. Here they are shown in the correct order. First of all, note that the hexagrams come in pairs of opposites, which are either mirror images or inverted versions of each other. Note that the sequence starts with pure yang unbroken lines and pure yin broken lines, and the sequence ends with alternating yang and yin lines. Now let's go a step deeper. I color-coded some of the hexagrams. Purple. These are inverted pairs, meaning that if you turn yang lines into yin lines you get the other one. Red. These are also inverted pairs, but in addition the trigrams of which these hexagrams consist have a vertical symmetry. Some of the red ones and all of the purple ones also have a dark blue background, which I used to indicate that these hexagrams also have a vertical symmetry. And then there are the green ones, which I will explain in the next slide. Slide 3. As it turns out, all the white hexagrams have a counterpair. The green ones are the only ones without a counterpair. A counterpair can be found by inverting all the lines, meaning turning yang lines into yin lines and vice versa. In addition to connecting the counterpairs with the curved lines, I also color-coded these based on their origin. The red lines originate from before the red hexagrams 11 and 12. The yellow lines originate from before the red hexagrams 29 and 30. And finally the blue lines have an origin after hexagram 30. Clearly an interesting pattern is emerging. To me this demonstrates that the King Wen sequence is not a random arrangement of the hexagrams. There is a certain logic behind it, even though it may be hard to put your finger on it. Slide 4. Now let's bring it all together and back to the model of a human lifetime. The red hexagrams are the main markers to divide the hexagrams over the 8 phases of life. Hexagrams 1 until 10 fit early childhood. Hexagrams 11 and 12 can be seen as the end of early childhood and a transition into adolescence. Adolescence transitions into young adulthood, which is focused on gaining independence and personal achievement. Hexagrams 29 and 30 mark the end of the 3 phases of growing up. After this point the person is an adult and has become independent. Next, it is time for building interpersonal relationships, settling down, and becoming part of society at large. Something interesting happens between hexagrams 43 and 52. While this cannot be seen from the color coding of the hexagrams, I will show in a later video that this is in fact a distinct part of the sequence. This is the phase of leadership, managing change, and making an impact. Next, hexagrams 53 until 60 are about mastery and refinement of what was achieved. And finally the last 4 hexagrams of the sequence are about reflection, sharing your wisdom, and completion. I hope that I managed to show how the 8 phases of life are divided over the 64 hexagrams of the King Wen sequence. I will leave it at this for now, and we will dive deeper in the following videos. Thanks for watching.